and welcome to the first A-Level Media Studies lesson. My name is Mrs. Reed and I am entirely new to recording my lessons in this way. However, I am looking forward to introducing you to the Jungle Book case study. Now we study OCR H409 Media A-Level, and this case study makes a great intro. It's a really good one for a way into studying A-Level. So if this is entirely new to you, I think this is a fantastic starting point to see if it's a subject that you might be interested in. However, if you are already studying media, it makes an excellent way to revise some of the key theoretical concepts, particularly looking at media industries, and consolidating some of the knowledge perhaps that you already have. Okay, so a bit of a starter here. I want you to just be thinking ahead before we introduce this new information. And you can see at the top left-hand corner there is a pause icon. That's there just to encourage you in a few moments to pause the video and then to have a go at completing the task. So here I really want you to think about what you already know. I'd like you to write down the different processes that you know are involved in the filmmaking, or what we might call the film chain. This is everything between someone coming up with an initial idea, right the way through to the film becoming available to be watched by an audience, in a cinema, for example. You could choose to write this as a flowchart or a mind map, and I'd encourage you just to pause for a few minutes. Okay, so to give an overview here of our case study texts. Now, we're looking at these set texts, really. They're chosen by OCR. It's a little bit like studying GCSE literature. We have set texts that we have to study as part of the syllabus. And that's the same here. OCR have chosen two Disney texts. They have chosen The Jungle Book, the animated classic of 1967. And we're going to be asked then to compare that to the Jungle Book remake, that live action remake of 2016. These case study texts are an excellent way of exploring the film industry. So we're interested in Disney as a global conglomerate, a huge corporation that owns a lot of smaller companies, subsidiaries, and that holds a lot of power and influence in the film industry. We might say it really has a dominance or a monopoly over parts of the film industry. Okay, let's look at it in light of our theoretical framework then. So we are asked to look at film alongside two other media industries. We look at other case studies such as Radio 1 and the Radio 1 Breakfast Show, and we look at video games, specifically at Minecraft. But for film, we're asked to focus solely on media industries, and then to consider the economic and the historical contexts, and again, how they might impact on film production. How will you be assessed on this? Well, if we were studying and sitting the exam, then this would come under Paper 2, Section A, where there are two questions where you could be asked about one of the three case studies. So the Jungle Book may come up as a 15-mark question where you're being assessed on your knowledge and understanding of the case study. Okay, so again, just to give you this overview of what these lessons are about and what the case study contains. The content then is that we look at the filmmaking process, the film chain, and then we look at those different stages alongside issues of ownership and control, technological change, how producers might try to maintain audiences and how the concept of the audience may have evolved over time. We'll be looking at the digitally convergent nature of media. And again, we'll be talking a lot about how media has changed and evolved over time from traditional forms of media such as print, radio, into what we now refer to as the digital age, where we have this increasing number of platforms and opportunities to access different forms of media content. We'll see how filmmakers, such as Disney, will really seek to utilize all those different methods of digital media and create convergence across the different platforms. Finally, we'll look at film regulation. We'll look at the regulation that the industry must consider, and again, how that has changed since the 1960s. Okay, back to today then. So the lesson focus here is all about the filmmaking process. We're starting out with some simple ideas that we can make notes on, and then we'll be leading towards undertaking a short piece of independent research, looking at the film chain for a film of your choice. Okay, so the first part that you may wish to pause on then is this useful way of looking at the stages of the film chain. We can see there's 4 areas, starting out with production, that's the making of the film, everything that goes into it from its initial idea right the way through to it becoming a fully made product. Next we have distribution, and that is sharing the film, making it accessible. So there are financial agreements to be made here, and really a timeline for release and marketing deals need to be made. Next then is marketing. That's all about promoting the film, getting it out to a target audience, creating some excitement and hype about the product. And the final stage then is exhibition. That's showing the film to an audience, making it available in a cinema, for home entertainment, or via a streaming service. If you pause here, you might wish to make a note of the icons also. I will refer to them again later in this video, and they will also be used in the knowledge organizer that I'll make available alongside this resource. Okay, so looking at the first step then, production, making the film. Here we can see, again, there are several stages involved in this part of the process. We have the development, where the script is written, it's made into something that's workable, that's financially viable, that we think is going to be successful and able to generate interest and profit. Next then is the pre-production. This is all about preparing for the shoot. So we need to consider here the cast, the crew, which locations are being used, how sets might need to be built. The third stage then is the production itself, the film footage being shot. And the fourth stage is the post-production. Again, a huge part of modern filmmaking, particularly for films like Disney's new live-action remakes. And it's here that the film is edited in post-production, where sound is added, visual effects and special effects are added to make the film look as an audience would expect, and creating those really high production values. Again, you may wish to pause and make some notes. Okay, perhaps not note-taking here, but I quite liked this graphic as a way, again, just to think about the life of a film and all the work that must go into the production stage. Here we can see then that the different stages of film production are also linked to Oscars categories. In the pre-production stage, we can see that there's awards available for Best Original or Best Adapted Screenplay. We get awards for production design, makeup artist, best actor or actress. And in post-production too, there's film editing, cinematography, sound effects. And the overall category going to the best picture. So if you're wanting to find out a little bit more about film production, maybe beyond just what we discuss here, having a look at the Oscars is a really good way in. It might be something that you already watch and are interested in, or perhaps something that you've not really thought about before. This is a little aside really from the Jungle Book case study, but it is a nice way again just to think about filmmaking. So if you're interested, perhaps have a look at some of those Oscar winners for 2020. We can see that this year Parasite picked up quite a number of awards. That's certainly a film that's top of my list to watch once it becomes available via streaming. You can see the best production design then went to Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The best visual effects, unsurprisingly, going to 1917, who did some incredible things with that point of view and that single shot, that continuous shot that just made things look so lifelike and utterly convincing for the war. And again, if you've got a little bit of time on your hands at the moment, and you're wondering what to do in relation to media, having a look at some of those Oscar-winning films of the last decade is a really good way to go. It might just encourage you perhaps to get out of your comfort zone in terms of the genres and types of films that you currently watch. And it's going to give you, again, a good indication of just some of those really interesting films and styles, perhaps that you haven't seen before. Okay, the next stage then is distribution. So this is all about sharing the film, again, to make it accessible. So this is, again, everything really that goes in between the production stage and then getting it out to an audience. So it needs to be screened for potential buyers. These we call distributors. And you would think about some of the big film festivals here, things like Cannes and Sundance. This is where the films are being shown to the potential buyers. From there, a distribution agreement will be set up and plans for marketing and release dates will be considered. So it says here, distribution includes all of the financial deals that will be done to get the film shown and promoted. Again, you might wish to pause and make some notes. Okay, next up is marketing. We know a lot, I would suggest, about marketing, about promoting the film to an audience, and I find it a really interesting area of the filmmaking process. Marketing is all about creating hype for the product, interesting an audience, targeting very specific audiences sometimes. And we'll be able to see through this case study how it really has evolved. We get the traditional forms still being used, things like film posters, trailers, but we're also seeing increasingly unique ways of marketing through social media, viral marketing, through websites, immersive experiences. And brands are going to work together to create what they call 360-degree marketing. They're not just going to want to stick to traditional forms, but they're going to want to flood all areas of the media with advertising products to increase the visibility of the film. And once they've achieved that, They've created the hype for it. It's ready